Hello, and welcome back to Aspen Teaches You About Acting Stuff. And by welcome back, I mean this has never happened before, probably will never happen again, because this is for a school assignment. Hello, teacher. I don't know which one of you is grading this. Today, I'm here to talk about Lee Strasberg's method. I keep moving my hands like this, like we have an editing budget. We do not have an editing budget for this. It's 1 a.m. So, what are my qualifications to teach you about Lee Strasberg's method? Ooh, I have so many qualifications, just you wait. I've been in a couple of plays. I'm in 3 right now. It's why assignments are real hard. 3 plays at once. I don't get home till very late. I teach Theater 1 at our school. That's I audition in this space too. Yeah, that's all the qualification. I might go to college for it. I don't know. Yeah, cool. So Lee Strasberg. Lee Strasberg was a acting teacher in the 1930s to I'd say 1980, but that's when he died, so grain of salt. He was an acting teacher. He believed very deeply in the so creatively called the method, or a method acting, as you all hear in news clips when Jared Leto takes it too far. So, what actually is it before it got all of its bad press, which it still has a lot of bad press? Basically, it's a method which I really personally like and subscribe to. And not all methods will be for every actor, but it's a method that prioritizes being extremely connected to your character emotionally and physically, and kind of a sensory recall. And so it's really realistic, and it's not like an idea of an emotion. It is a real emotion you felt. Recalled, sensory recall is the term for it. So, like an easy example would be like if I was someone who was engaged and then I was going to play a character who was proposing. Well, then I would have that one-to-one experience of, okay, even if their proposals are different things, you know, the feeling of like being on your one knee, looking up at your partner and proposing. You know that feeling. You can reproduce that feeling and whatever it brought up in you and what it would bring up for your character. Not to say it'll work for every one-to-one, because characters will be different from you. Like an example I personally had was I was playing this grandpa. That was literally his name. And I related to him on a lot of levels. But there are things, because of our age gap, that he has experienced that I have not. So I have to use different experiences and kind of age it up. So there's parts where he's talking to his granddaughter, Alice, about how to live, how to be happy, how to love. So I took the emotion of when I'm giving my friends advice and being like, hey, do this, don't be stupid, and like age that up and see, this is how I feel now, how would I feel 60 years from now talking to someone who's still my age? And that's really helpful. That's the Lee Strasberg technique. And I also want to do a monologue because I really love the monologue. Sorry. I don't know how long this is supposed to be. You didn't give me a time code. But I'm going to do a monologue and stop in the middle and explain different moments. I'm going to be doing a monologue from a show called Much Ado About Nothing. It's by William Shakespeare. It's a comedy. The things you need to know is this guy is kind of misogynist, which I don't relate to. but he's very proud about himself. He never lets his guard down. But like he and another woman throughout this whole show have been bickering, and everyone else senses, oh, this is romantic tension, but neither of them want to admit it. So his best friend and the prince stage a talk where they're like, did you hear Beatrice is in love with Benedict? And Benedict overhears this, and this is his reaction. This can be no trick. The conference was sadly born. So that first line is, what are you feeling? And you take it line by line like this, is, what are you feeling? Shock, surprise. He's never thought about getting married or romance. Shock. So how do I relate that to myself? Have I ever heard someone else talk about me romantically? No, because it's me. But you can see where the how for other people that would be helpful. And it goes on. But they have the truth of this from Hero. They seem to pity the lady. It would seem her affections are full bent. Love me! So, two things. We have the truth of this from Hero. So feeling that trust, feeling kind of betrayal not betrayal, but like, we know this for a fact. So something I would know as a fact is, we revolve around the sun. That is the same emotion in that instance of, we know this, but, which is not how I feel about this. Do you get this? And then the turnaround bit. Love me. Once again, it's that shock. It's like his entire character is changing. So you're thinking, okay, what's a moment I've changed significantly? What's a time that my beliefs have changed dramatically, especially if you haven't had an experience where it's gone that fast, then the easy thing you can do is just speed it up in your head. And it's the same emotion. And even though it's not one-to-one, you can reuse it. And some of the faults, I'm not going to keep doing that entire monologue. It's too long and it's Shakespeare. Boo. But it did get me into a couple colleges. What can I say? Some of the downsides of Lee Strasberg's method. We talked earlier a little bit about Jared Leto. Some people don't break character and this especially happens on film sets. But like, oh, cameras are down? Okay, so everyone else drops character. No, you need to stay in the character. That's not originally what Lee Strasberg meant. And depending on the scene, it can also be helpful to not drop that character so you don't have to go back into it. It's not advised. And the second issue with Lee Strasberg's method is the emotional toll it can take on your actors and the people around them. So if I'm going home every day, if I'm living, what's a good example? Like a World War II vet. If I'm playing a World War II vet, and every day I'm going into like my deepest traumas, my deepest insecurities, and it's just like 100% connection all the time, that's gonna be hard. That's not gonna be a good time. That's gonna be very sad. But it's gonna be those very real emotions on that camera. And then this is the other thing is, you go home at night, you have a wife, you have a kid, you have whatever. If you can't break that character, it's also now affecting them. And that's when it gets dangerous again. So overall, my thoughts. Very, very good as a baseline, as, okay, I understand where my character's coming from. How can I be true about this? Because you never want to be untrue about an emotion. It's very good as a baseline. But the trick is when you stop using it as a baseline, is you use it for too much. So knowing when to stop, when it's actually needed. Like, I would probably never use the method for a comedy, which I used the comedy as an example because I didn't want to start crying. But it's not always necessary. And that's the other interesting thing about acting methods as a whole is, works for me, doesn't work for you. Cool. It works for me. It doesn't have to. But yeah, Lee Strasberg, very cool guy, very cool method. I hope this video wasn't too long. Please give me grace if it was.